What's up, guys? Welcome to the finale of the Brigmore Witches. So I'm not crazy about how I ended up splitting this up because I ended up with a pretty short video last time and a pretty long video this time, but I think you guys will forgive me for that as long as I get this campaign done in this video. So I am unfortunately at a severe disadvantage here from where I should be, especially based on how I did my test runs, because I should have plenty of explosive bolts right now, and I guess I never picked up any in the wild, so I never had the ability to purchase them at the shops. All the river crusts here, I would just blow up with a explosive bolt and it deals with them instantly. Unfortunately, I've got to just avoid this one that's above me right here, and there'll be a couple more coming up that I really would like to be able to deal with a lot more easily. And that is also going to include some of the witches themselves would be easier to deal with explosive bolts. We're going to jump and then blink in midair with Dowd's time freezing ability with his blink to get over to this rooftop. There's some items inside here, but nothing I'm crazy about right now, and getting out of there once we get in is more difficult than it needs to be. So we're going to follow the rock wall here and the tree line to go to the back of the Brigmore Manor property and complete our side quest objective there for that, that note we got there at the beginning. And this should be offering us a way in, and there's many different ways in, but actually the Brigmore Manor is a lot more difficult to get into than you think it is. So we literally just got the key to the front door. I'm not even kidding. So now we can just go ahead and go in through the front door. Like I said, there's other ways in, all of which are pretty difficult, and they don't really give you a significant advantage, so I really just think the optimal way is just to go straight in through the front door. So we're going to be doing that, of course. And definitely takes advantage of that person's untimely demise there. So they did not die in vain. They allowed us to have an effective way in. So we're going to go ahead and go back the way we came. The items that are down there in this broken out building are not that important. There's no telling how much of this is natural and how much of this is caused by the Brigmore Witches' magic, because they definitely seem to have an affinity for plants and vines and that kind of thing, so maybe a lot of these trees are not natural. Either way, the Brigmore Manor appears to be ancient, falling apart, and surrounded by trees and other wildlife, and it seems to be a bit of a swamp as well. And if you think it's bad on the outside, just wait until we get on the inside. So there's a safe over here that's got a rune in it. We're definitely going to pick that up because, like I said, I have another ability I need to get before we finish here. I have almost everything I need, but I want to go ahead and invest in Pole 2, and we are going to be showing that off very shortly. It's definitely something I think is underrated. Like, I didn't use it a whole lot my first time through. We're going to casually just sneak up on them, assassinate this one, and walk right in the front door. Thug life, go! So that was easier said than done, and unfortunately they cannot, fortunately for us, they cannot chase us through the front door because we just loaded a new area, so. Oh, the lovely caveats of stealth games. Looks like it took it a second there for all the entities to spawn in on the map because those runes and bone charms didn't appear initially. So the reason I'm climbing on top of this cabinet here is there's a trap here, and this is how we're going to be able to recover some of our explosive bolts. So had I bought some early on, I would have been able to replenish them pretty easily because there's quite a few lying around and all these traps hidden throughout the Brigmore Manor. We're going to listen in on this conversation really quick here.
The brushwork is magnificent. Our Lady is a genius. Timsh's portrait was only the beginning. A vague mesmerism. But with Emily, Delilah will extinguish the girl's spirit and inhabit her completely. Own her skin and bones. Make her pretty teeth smile.
What will happen if Emily doesn't become Empress? Half the city thinks she's dead.
Emily Caldwin will take the throne, don't worry. Delilah is certain. She sees things in the void you and I do not.
Why didn't she just paint the Lord Regent? He's already running the Empire.
She has her reasons. Delilah was raised in Dunwall Tower, don't forget. And besides, the Lord Regent doesn't have a chance. Without the Boyle sisters behind him paying the army, he's a walking corpse.
Alright. Anyway, as I was saying, as bad as the manor looked on the outside, it is way, way worse on the inside. As you can see, it's flooded, everything is moldy and falling apart, there's moss and pond scum everywhere, and pretty much all of the wood has been completely destroyed. By the graces of this place being mostly stone, it's been able to stand up for the most part, but all the wood is just falling apart. So a couple of those witches were blinking across there. That's scripted. That happens every time you, the first time you walk into that area, so you can just kind of wait for them. We stealth our way up here to the second floor, and we're going to be going into the the east part of the... I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm going into the west part of the manor so that we can basically unlock the basement. Is the only reason why we're going over here. If we try to go to the basement without going over here first, they're just going to send us over here anyway, so... A lot of the doors right here are locked as well.
No, don't make me eat it.
So there's a very specific route we have to take in order to actually get through this place. It's kind of annoying. It seems open-ended, but it totally isn't.
I denounce the Abbey. Wandering.
What happened to you?
I denounce the oracles. The oracles. They saw the Caldwell girl. The girl in the painting.
Where's Delilah?
So yeah, there was apparently a overseer that wandered in here somehow, and he got kidnapped, and he was done some horrible things too. And there's a witch that will spawn there. That's also scripted, and there's really no way that you can avoid that. If you talk to him, she just appears. But she's not one of the other enemies that's already patrolling around that just notices that you're talking to him. It's a unique enemy that only appears for that instance. So you can completely wipe out all the other enemies around here if you chose to, and she will still appear. It's happened to me before. There's quite a few other wire traps around here that will spring and blow everything up if we trip them, so I'm going to go ahead and steal the bolts from them. There's two of them right here in this doorway. I took one of them already. There should be another one around here somewhere. There it is. I'm trying to jump and grab the bolt at the same time. There we go. But yeah, I immediately drew out my sleep darts so I could put her to sleep so she wouldn't actually attract the attention of the other nearby enemies, because there were probably some in that next hallway. There shouldn't be any enemies up here, but this place is heavily trapped. So we're going to do our best to avoid that. This is going to let us in on the nature of Delilah's plot up here. So we're going to go ahead and take all the explosive bolts we can possibly hold. Want to be very careful not to trip these things, because there's also whale oil canisters, so it'll be a very large and guaranteed fatal explosion. We found a strange purple lantern. I wonder what that has to do with it.
So they'll Emily.
Actually, if you read that journal, it has a lot of explanation as to what's going on here. And if this painting of Little Miss Emily Caldwell wasn't another indication, then you guys can probably figure it out for yourselves. So I still haven't gotten that last bolt, so I'm actually going to trip this on purpose, and it's going to send that bolt careening into that door, and it's going to blow that door open for me. There we go. How nice. So there's other enemies in there. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate the pull, if I can here, and how effective that is in combat against them. So pull 2 allows us to drag enemies towards. So I demonstrated pull 1 a little bit earlier in the game, but pull 2 allows me to actually pick up enemies, and it's awesome. It's a great way to hard counter the Brigmore Witches, because there's really no way they can defend against it as long as you have enough mana to power it. So, yeah, we cut them down pretty easily. And we even have our adrenaline going on. How nice. We'll be able to execute the next enemy we encounter. So, this area down here is another long hallway that's completely flooded, and it's full of the skulls of the possessed dog things. We go ahead and use our execution there. Not that it was really worth it, because obviously they go down in like one hit anyway, and then you have to destroy the skull. But we got the West Wing key, so we can actually get back to the beginning of the level right down here at the bottom much easier than we could before. That's I guess a shortcut there, although it would be fine to go back the way we came. I'm just going to be demonstrating this way anyway. So we're going to come back around here like we did when we first entered this area, and we're going to be heading upstairs again. So basically I'm just repeating the same route that I already went on, but there's quite a few witches down here. It looks like there's about 4 or 5 of them over there in total, from the different patrol routes have kind of merged together into one. I don't even want to look at what's at that ceiling. It looks nasty. I'm going to ignore it. And if I didn't say so in the previous video, this place is creepy! Incredibly so. But like I said, being I'm playing on high chaos, I don't mind stirring up an encounter with these girls and actually, you know, killing a fair bit of them, because that's just the way I decided to play as Dowd. But yeah, obviously it would be more beneficial if we were able to slip by them undetected. I did manage to stir up a large encounter here in my last test run, but if we just blink by on the second floor, they have no way of knowing we're even here. There's another trap over here. You can actually see the dispenser up there on the chandelier, the moldy chandelier. And we're going to go ahead and take that bolt. And I'm not sure if there will be... Okay, we're okay. That was the only one that was connected to it. And there's two more over here, one on each side of the room, as well as two whale oil canisters that are allocated to them. So we're going to go ahead and take both of those. We're going to move this over ever so slightly, and we're going to use the second one as a weapon against the enemies we're about to go up against. Yeah, so there's another barrel on the other side there. Somehow they didn't hear that. And it missed them. Great. We're being attacked from behind. Thankfully, we've accumulated all the explosive bolts, so we can just one-shot these witches. There's the demonstration of the baffle dust there, which unfortunately I don't think managed to really hit that enemy. We're going to call in for reinforcements. We're going to take these guys out. No, don't pull the corpse. Pull the one that's actually alive. There we go. If you have your Arcane Bond upgraded too, which I can't remember if we've decided to do that or not, then your fellow assassins will also gain the ability to... they'll also gain the ability to use pull as well.
Yes, I heard you, my love.
Alright, one more we gotta take out before we can head down there to that canvas. That was terrible. I definitely underestimated my... I overcooked it is what happened.
Come out! Sisters, over here! Your blood will make a fine soup.
There we go. They're quite formidable, if I didn't say so before. But since this is the last level, I don't care about expending my resources. I don't know why they even let you pick up items that are worth coin when you can't spend it anymore, but I think I mentioned that in the main campaign as well. Huh. So this lantern is some kind of magic. I think she's trying to open up in her own little void dimension within the painting. Well, if that's the case, we will go there.
You have many talents, Dowd, and they've served you. Delilah's talents are quite different. She creates images, but she does more. She captures spirit. She insinuates her will into her subject, whatever it is. We're witnessing her masterpiece, and perhaps yours as well. You see it now. Emily's life hangs in the balance, and Delilah's, and the fate of an empire. The end is coming, and it's been glorious to watch you throw your will against the machinery you set into motion. All things end. All things burn to ash. But you, my friend, burn bright.
Alright, time for Leap of Faith!
The void.
Alright, it's time for the final battle against Delilah. So, it looks like she's planted herself a nice little tree here, as the Brigmore Witches tend to do. So, apparently she's trying to somehow possess Emily Kaldwin through the painting, and then therefore live through her somehow, because she knows that Emily is destined to become the next Empress of Dunwall. So she's trying to seize control of Dunwall by doing that somehow. So as you can see, she has a number of those statues put up here. We're going to go and ambush her with an explosive dart, get some good damage on her right off the bat. We're not going to try to sneak up on her or anything. I'm actually not sure if it's possible to assassinate her without her knowing, because of how, first of all, how strong she is, and second of all, those statues are going to turn into shadow clones, which are going to fight us back. So we're going to have to defeat all of those, which are pretty easy. They have the same powers that the other witches have, but she also spawns in the divines we saw earlier that have the pull ability to pull us in closer. We can go ahead and hard counter them with a nice cut, and they'll go away. I like the movement of the flick of the wrist of Dowd's attack there when he cuts those down. It's quite nice. I commented on it a little bit earlier. But Delilah herself is on top of the structure here. There's actually an arrow pointing up, or a little objective marker at her up there. So we're going to try to get some damage in on her while we're doing this. Eventually, when she runs out of shadow clones, she'll come down and fight us herself out of, well, necessity. The non-lethal way of dealing with her is once the encounter has started, you can replace the painting of Emily with a different painting that's nearby, and then you can trap Delilah inside the painting, and that's the non-lethal method. Obviously, we want to cut her down, though. Tried to get my explosive bolts to go through the cracks in the railing there, and I think I managed to get one off. There we go. Nice, good hit there. So hopefully she will... Alright, we already defeated her. Good job. I didn't even have to use bend time or anything. Alright, Delilah. We've about had enough of you. Oh, man. She's hardcore. Alright. Enough playing around. We have you beat. Sit down and shut up. Whew. Okay. Alright, so we defeated Delilah. Let's go ahead and see how everything plays out. Dowd has cast his die, we'll see how it lands.
No one will ever know exactly what it took to save Emily Caldwin from a living death as Delilah's puppet. No one except the outsider, who watches everything and thinks his own dark thoughts and speaks to few in any generation. I've learned that our choices always matter. To someone. Somewhere. And sooner or later, in ways we can't always fathom, the consequences come back to us. I came from Serkonos to Dunwall as a boy, made my living as a killer, one of the few who've heard the outsider's voice. I murdered an empress, but saved her daughter, who will one day rule the Empire. Those were my choices. I'm ready for what comes. I have one more surprise for you. I asked for my life. When I killed your Empress and took her daughter, something broke inside me. Now I want nothing but to leave this city and fade from the memory of those who reside here. I've had enough killing. So my life is in your hands. Make your choice.
You make an eloquent plea for a man with innocent blood on his hands. It's a shame Corvo doesn't know the real story, isn't it? How Dowd, the legendary assassin, spent his last days doing whatever it took to save Emily Caldwin, defied the keepers of Coldridge Prison, faced down gang leaders and the terrors of Brigmore Manor. And with the end coming, you cut a savage swath through Dunwall, blood and terror, for the fate of the Empire. A story never to be told. And you leave the ending up to Corvo. That's courage. You make your own choice and accept the price.
Alright, so that's it for Let's Play the Brigmore Witches, and for Let's Play Dishonored 1 in general. So Corvo cut us down. He did not forgive us for our crimes against Jessamine and himself, and he brought us to righteous justice. So it's all fair and good. We cast our die, we knew it was coming. So to actually break that down a little bit, the outcome there is determined on your level of chaos playing as Dowd. So it seems like if you play low chaos with Dowd, then Corvo will choose to go low chaos as well, vice versa. So if you play things through rather cautiously, even if you kill Delilah at the end, if you still avoided killing the majority of people, you can still get a low chaos ending overall, and Corvo will spare you. Now this brings me just to some discussion about Dishonored 2, since we're a couple months away from it now. We're getting very close. It's confirmed that Delilah is in Dishonored 2, which I still do not understand how that's possible based on the two outcomes of this, but I believe it's far more likely that the low chaos ending for Dishonored 1 is more canon, because obviously the DLC would be canon with the main story in terms of the level of chaos as well. So if somehow she managed to get herself out of the painting you stuck her in the low chaos ending, and obviously you killing her is not canon. But that also means that Dowd could potentially make a return in Dishonored 2 as well, although I think it's very unlikely because he'd be pushing 50 in Dishonored 2's timeline, so I don't think he'd be in for all the acrobatics and whatnot. But I highly, highly recommend you guys pick up the Dunwall Archives and read through that, get some knowledge about the deep, deep lore that Dishonored has. Make sure you guys play through the DLC and everything before the next game comes out. And let me know what you guys think. You know, let's share some discussion before the game comes out and talk about what we think about could be the plot. And I will see you guys next time with whatever Let's Play I decide to do next. I'm not going to say that out loud really right now. But I'm playing through Deus Ex Mankind Divided right now. And hopefully I'll have that finished so I can jump right into Dishonored 2 and give you guys some feedback as soon as it comes out. So once again, thank you guys for watching. And this is finally it for the first Dishonored, and across 3 different campaigns, 3 different versions of the game. I had a blast recording it, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching it.